When can we get underway, damn it?
That's 5 compartments. She can stay afloat with the first 4 compartments breached, but not 5.
After covering Terminator and Terminator 2 at the beginning of the month, we're now going to talk about another James Cameron movie, Titanic, the 1997 love story and disaster film, which was inspired by James Cameron wanting to go down to see the wreck of the Titanic.
And how many aboard, Mr. Murdoch?
2,200 souls on board, sir.
Starting in 1995, James Cameron was able to go down to the wreck 12 times. Back in the 90s, it was much less safe to even try going down there, and there were some close calls, including one where a submersible crashed into the hull of the Titanic.
This was all just ridiculously exciting for me. I mean, to be flying an ROV around inside the Titanic, I mean, it was just great. And here's a view looking back, and you can see one of the chandeliers just kind of overgrown with deep-sea animals that are sitting there filter feeding in the current.
And another where the bulkhead of the captain's quarters and grand staircase began collapsing and caused damage. These underwater shots were the first taken for the movie Titanic, and James Cameron moved on to learning about the crew and passengers. He began consulting with experts and had a timeline, which he checked in with them. Titanic stars Leonardo DiCaprio, Kate Winslet, Billy Zane, Kathy Bates, Francis Fisher, Bernard Hill, Jonathan Hyde, and Bill Paxton. 1997 wasn't the first time they tried to recreate the events of the shipwreck. In 1958, the Titanic film A Night to Remember was popular with audiences, which starred Kenneth More, Michael Goodliffe, Lawrence Naismith, Kenneth Griffin, and David McCallum. A disaster film which is known as one of the most accurate ever made. It was A Night to Remember that inspired James Cameron 4 decades later. Titanic stars Kate Winslet and Leonardo DiCaprio as Rose and Jack, a couple that defies class in the organization of the boat. Rose is a rich girl whose father has died and left her and her mother in massive debt. Jack is an American boy who's stuck in England until he miraculously wins 2 tickets for the Titanic in a poker game. Rose is already with Cal, played by Billy Zane, who's a rich guy who could situate Rose for the rest of her life.
Hey, wait! We're passengers! Passengers! Have you been through the inspection queue? Of course. Anyway, we don't have any license. We're Americans.
Meanwhile, Rose's mom, played by Francis Fisher, and their newly rich friend Molly Brown, played by Kathy Bates, the unsinkable Molly Brown. The class differences in Titanic are at the center of everything. The Titanic is clearly a ship for the richest people, the largest luxury ship ever constructed, and the hubris of such an unprecedentedly large ship builds hubris in the captain, the engineer, and the ship's largest investor. The belief that the Titanic couldn't possibly sink leads the ship's engineer to only load the ship with half of the lifeboats needed. Despite 2,224 passengers on the ship, the lifeboats only had room for 1,178. The British shipbuilding company Harland & Wolff that built the actual Titanic found blueprints that no one had seen since 1912 and shared them with James Cameron. Built in a giant Horizon tank, Peter Lamont helped James Cameron build a fully planned out replica of the actual Titanic. The length of the exterior of the model was 744 feet. The grand climax of the film had 100 stunt performers and 150 extras as the ship broke up on a tilting full-size set. Filmed first in Nova Scotia, then newly constructed Fox Baja Studios, Titanic became the most expensive film ever made, using a combination of CGI and practical replicas, became the most expensive film ever made at $200 million. And after grossing $1.84 billion, became the first film to gross over $1 billion at the box office. It netted 14 nominations at the Oscars, scoring 11 wins, including Best Picture, Best Director, Best Original Score, Best Original Song for My Heart Will Go On, Best Visual Effects, Best Editing, Best Costume Design, and Best Sound. It tied with All About Eve and Ben-Hur for most nominations, and Ben-Hur and Titanic both won 11.
Certain?
Yes. In an hour or so. All this will be at the bottom of the Atlantic. What?
Before I introduce the panel, please like this video and subscribe to the Movie Night Extravaganza YouTube channel. Then hit that bell to get notified whenever we're streaming. Super chats are now open. If you have any pressing questions, send us a super chat, which helps me maintain the expenses for the show, for which I am obligated by the rules of the Geneva Convention to stop everything and ask the panel. Another way to help us out is to become a patron and give us money every month. In exchange, you get access to all of our after parties, bonus content, and we'll tell you even more movies we watched recently. Patreon.com/Movie Night Extra. We have a Movie Night Extravaganza Discord. There's an invite link in the episode description, and we have a Letterboxd HQ account. So those are 2 more places to follow along with us. Our show gets simulcast, or if we're not on it at regular time, played later on This Space. This Space is a working class independent media collective. YouTube.com/ThisSpaceTV. Subscribing really helps out, or even more, sharing content from This Space and encouraging others to do the same. By working together, we can break through the algorithm. Okay, let me introduce the illustrious panel. Conan Neutron is the co-host and senior producer for Movie Night Extravaganza, host of Protonic Reversal, an independent Film Critics of America film critic, and the frontman for the band Conan Neutron and the Secret Friends. Check out his music at neutronfriends.bandcamp.com. This is Conan's first time watching Titanic. Kristina Oakes is a co-host of Movie Night Extravaganza, a streamer on Twitch, twitch.tv/cosmopolitics, a host at This Space, hosting Christina's Corner, and is across social media at Cosmopolitics and on Letterboxd at Christina. Forrest and Kristina have a second show, The Absurdity Space, live on This Space on Wednesdays at 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific. I, of course, am your host and the builder of a ship that cannot sink, Forrest Miller. I assure you, it's made of iron. It can and will.
All right. Yes. Spoiler
All
alert,
right.
the ship sinks.
You never know.
Conan,
You know?
Conan, you are in the hot seat right now, and we want to know, what did you think of Titanic?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I mean, I didn't. I'm not gonna swear my sword to it or anything. Like, it's not like what I would consider a 5-star movie, but I enjoyed it. The love story probably was my least favorite, but it totally worked for me. I think that you have Kate Winslet and Leo DiCaprio at their prime, right? You have hot people doing hot people things. It's a classic, classic type of romance, but it, despite all that, it works because of it's charming, right? The disaster stuff really worked for me. That stuff I loved.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to me that I've actually been to where they shot the actual ship moving around and what have you. It's right by
Baja.
Jason. The place in Baja. It's not just Baja. It's Rosarita. Not to dox him. It's right where Jason Miles lives. I've been there.
Yeah.
And doubly crazy is
Nice.
I also I mean, it's just a big pool. What there's not a boat in it, but it's still kind of interesting. But I also
they
just
still shoot stuff there, right? They still
they
use
they
it
do.
as
And the movie I saw right before this was Master and Commander for Our Side of the World, which was also shot there. So I watched 2 movies with the ships in it that were filmed at the same location.
I mean, it's fascinating too, because they started it in Newfoundland. Like, that's where the first off of kind of Nova Scotia. That's kind of where they shot a lot of it, and then they're like, "Oh, this is too cold. We need to go move down."
Right, ironically. So the disaster stuff was super compelling for me. I either didn't know or forgot, and it maybe amounts to the same, of the framing device of it starting in the modern day, where they're exhuming the Titanic, looking for treasure. Like to the point that I was like, is this the right movie? Because I put it in a DVD. I was like, let me. Is this like some documentary? Some like, because we all know Cameron like loves running around and ships and what have you.
People love that.
Where was it? Bill Paxton had to tell him the
best
news.
alibi. Yeah, exactly.
People love on Facebook and on social media using that GIF where she's like, it's been 84 years.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, besides James Cameron wanting to see the Titanic, everyone's like, why is our culture so obsessed with this goddamn ship?
Right.
Well, Forrest basically explained it. It was it was labeled the unsinkable ship. It was the biggest ship in the world at that point. It sinks on her maiden voyage.
Yeah, you can
find the wreck for decades, and it was discovered by accident by Robert Ballard.
You can go off Queen very soon. I'm almost done with this because I tried to keep it succinct. So I figured there'd be a lot to talk about here. Entire cast is very strong. I think Kathy Bates is Molly Brown is probably the most underrated, and I like David Warner as the Pinkerton fixer guy a lot too.
Yeah,
I actually watched. So I got this on DVD and I watched the deleted scenes. And there's a whole action sequence where they they're fighting him. And it's like, oh, this is pretty badass. But this movie's 7 hours long, so I see why they didn't include it because it's also kind of a long sequence.
Ending is bad.
But yeah. So getting back around to so I really loved Gloria Stewart, who's a pre-code actress.
Mm-hmm.
She was
she worked with Shirley Temple.
Old school actress, and using her, who they had to give makeup to because she didn't quite look old enough.
They're still getting her,
which good for her. I love that, and I thought that was interesting and cool. That part, I mean, that I knew that aspect of it from just the monoculture. So in closing, for my initial thoughts on here, I think there's a lot left for people with nostalgia for this film, and I say that because every time I mentioned that I hadn't seen it and that I was doing it for the show, it turned into a circular discussion about Titanic memories, beloved personal experiences. Well, when I saw it, this happened and that happened, and then, I did this and so on, to the point that nobody would remember that I even had mentioned, oh yeah, I'd never seen it. It happened at least a dozen times, and I was just kind of secretly sort of chuckling about that. So I think that's pretty incredible in a world that has no monoculture anymore.
Yeah.
This is a monocultural moment that, as KT Baldassaro is fond of saying, I was when this kind of stuff was happening movie-wise, I was at the direct center of it or nowhere near it in a different universe, and this was the latter.
I got into Titanic obviously because of my sister. My sister is
See,
7 years
it's happening
older
now. It's happening right now.
And so she saw it in the theater 11 times with her friends, and she's all her guy friends were crying too. It's a thing. Straight men fuck with Titanic for all the right reasons and not the wrong ones. But I remember where I was when I saw it. I was 4 years old. She was so excited because she had just gotten the two VHS tapes, and we watched it up at Aunt Laura's house, and I was hooked.
I got a lot of that. I got a lot of that being, especially folks more my age, about it being oh yeah, it's the classic 2 VHS tape movie.
Yeah. I saw it.
Back in the day, kids, a long movie had to be on 2 VHS tapes.
Which that was until the end of the world too. I mean, there's plenty of movies that are, but this is one that was, it had a lot of cultural saliency, to the point that even of course I know the boat sinks, but this has been homaged so much. This has been ripped off, parodied. I mean, so many lines of it have been gift, et cetera, that there were a few things that were surprising to me, and that was a shock. That was probably the biggest shock, that any aspect of it could surprise me at all.
And the song.
Yeah.
But there's just so much. I wasn't surprised, but that wasn't even a it wasn't a huge surprise. It was oh, interesting. Okay. That's kind of cool. It's funnier than I thought it was going to be. Not that it's hilarious, but it's got some pretty funny moments.
Yeah. There's a couple cultural touchstones, I guess, in this conversation. It's you I was watching Dave Cameron talk about this, and he was saying it feels like Kate Winslet and Leonardo DiCaprio feel inevitable, kind of, right? Huge stars.
Sure.
They actually. but they weren't at this point. Kate Winslet, obviously, only 3 years before this, Heavenly Creatures, a movie
which I love.
Romeo and Juliet.
And we've covered that on this very show, and that I love Heavenly Creatures. And I saw that when it came out, and I'm all about it. Most hideous man alive.
So the other thing, at the point where Leo was cast, Baz Luhrmann's Romeo and Juliet had not come out yet. So he was not a bankable star. So they were basically riding a lot on this.
Gilbert Grape.
Cameron. Gilbert Grape, which is a movie that I actually do like.
I do like it too, but it is you killed it, Gilbert. Is it? That's
it was like Gilbert.
Season of mock.
It's almost crazy that Leonardo DiCaprio didn't get typecast as an autistic guy after that or something because he's just so believable.
Technically, if you think about it, Howard Hughes is kind of that's OCD, but still.
And that goes back to the Simple Jack of it all too, right? From Tropic Thunder, Simple Jack.
So basically, James Cameron was selling this on the strength of his name, and at this point, Terminator 2.
So when really this movie, James? Are you sure about that?
Well, this is kind of his blank check, and he was like, "Look, I'm James Cameron. It's gonna be a banger. I'm James Cameron. I got Leonardo DiCaprio here too." Hi, it's Leonardo DiCaprio. No, but James Cameron was selling this on the strength of his name, the special effects, the kind of insane things that he had done.
Which is crazy when they actually get to it, because there is so much story. There's honestly, for my taste, probably more story than there needs to be, because it's there's enough story for 2 movies, and I was like, is this ship gonna sink eventually? What are we doing? But
then the tone shift happens.
Well, it does, and one of the reasons why I think it works and has this cross-cultural, monocultural when that existed appeal is because of the interweaving of the two things. Because it's okay, there's the romance aspect of it too, but then you also have guys. It's okay for guys because Leo, they can see themselves in Leo, being a scrappy dude, just trying to get by with the best he can, and not out of his class, but out of his class. And I think that's probably the thing that I was most pleasantly surprised by. Is I knew it was okay, it's they're coming from different sides of the tracks, so to speak, but I didn't realize how much of that featured in. And what's a shame though is I think some of my favorite stuff was his buddy Fabrizio. And again, I decided because
Tommy,
it's also good, and they both have great scenes that were in the deleted scenes because, of course, this movie's 1,000 years long, so we cut it out.
Yeah,
but
there was I don't know if it was
in Irish and Italian, and
right, and
that's
very real around this time.
There was a whole subplot I think originally where they go into the ship and then the guys that because the guys were supposed to meet up with 2 other guys that had the tickets originally,
Sven.
and then they're like, hey, who are you guys? We're waiting for our friends, and then they have to explain that oh no, we won the tickets off them.
Yeah. Well, and there's a language barrier thing, which again, when I say it's very funny, and they're like, well, what happened to our friend? Where'd he go?
Yeah,
who are these dudes?
a little thing. And then a lot of people also forget that yes, there were pets who died on the Titanic as well, so they had to show the ladies with the dogs, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, so there was one lady on the Titanic that had a very fancy toy dog, and she was going to bring it into the boat, but she was extremely rich, she was a socialite, and she's oh, they're not going to have any sympathy for me if a bunch of children died and my dog, I have this really expensive dog in the boat with me, so she had to she just left her dog to die on the Titanic, which is really sad.
Yeah, I mean that part is that's a very unique scenario even amongst disaster movies of that. Chekhov's lifeboats.
Returning to America.
Well, but it's there not being enough lifeboats literally for everyone, and then of course in a blind panic, people are just ah, get out of here.
Yeah.
And so you end up and then you get that situation. We'll talk about it when we do the plot summary, I'm sure, where it's there's they could have saved more people if they had kept it together.
They're just fucking. I'm trying not to curse on the show, and I just did. But they're just draining seats at some points because it's like, oh, all the rich people are in there, and they're like, we could have fit 70 people in a lifeboat, and they're like, oh, we fit 24.
We'll maybe the class, you know?
Right, which goes back to the class themes that are pretty much constant throughout the whole thing. I mean, it is, you know, stratified by level of like where you can and cannot be, and you know, and just as in reality, there was no illusions about that. It was like, oh no, you're either like up here or you're down there. But then there's a great job of the great thing of like, you know, the whole new money thing and being able to sort of like fake your way through it because people will fill in the blanks on their own, which kind of almost reminded me a little bit of like Talented Mr. Ripley and you know, all the Confidence Man sort of like films of like, oh yeah, that's 100% true. Like people will like, rather than listen to you, they will try to like mentally fill in the blanks themselves half the time, and that can be to your advantage if you're.
I mean, especially like, you know, portraying the rich people as kind of clueless. Like the rich people obviously are extremely like they pay attention extremely to like, you know, class signifiers. But at the same time, it's like,
and he's from Wisconsin too. He's from upstate Wisconsin, which is hilarious because that's where I live.
Like, you ever been to Chippewa Falls?
Yeah, that's Chippewa Falls.
And he's got the little Leo
what's his face
accent
from The Young
too.
and the Restless in this movie too.
Yeah,
Leo, he already has like the Leo accent, which he plays up so much in Don't Look Up when he, he does a little voice just like this. But he has that little Midwestern thing to his voice that he does, and you can hear it throughout this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like so all that, so the characters are fairly well rounded. Again, the some of the cooler supporting cast, you get more of it with deleted scenes, but I mean, it is astounding that this movie is so covers so much because there's a lot of people that would be like either change the framing device of it being in the present or just drop it because you don't need it. But then, like, okay, so that's when you get the poignancy of like, you know, she's there in her old age, and if you don't have any of those stakes, you know, otherwise it's just like, wow, I feel like they both could have fit on that door to me, but okay.
Hey, there's a scene where they don't fit on the door, so I'm like, here's a scene that actually shows otherwise. Like, the
whole thing is that Mythbusters did that episode where
oh, did they really?
So Mythbusters did a whole thing, and well, no, they came to the conclusion that if they had done it right. If they had gone on a certain angle perfectly, then Leo probably could have fit. James Cameron was like, I don't think that's true. And then the Mythbusters guy were like, well, we've proved it using ballast as our right.
Well,
but then there's also like there's what you're doing in a controlled environment with guys on a TV show, and there's also like we're in freezing cold water going through the most traumatic event that like mankind had yet known beyond war.
Yeah, and also like that made James Cameron think, did I get the sinking right? And he was like, oh, I got like one little detail right. I mean, one little detail wrong, and that kind of like made him a little mad. And I'm like, it's fine. It looks more climactic and shocking if it just goes up and then just goes down, not swirls.
Yeah. Well, I watched the movie that he was kind of inspired by, A Night to Remember, last night, and that's like, you know, the 1958 British movie that it's based, you know, it's Titanic, but it doesn't have like the Romeo and Juliet type of story, like the
it's just the ship singing, right? It's more of a
but it's like it's supposed to be like the most accurate. I mean, because they use the book of like, you know, The Night to Remember, which is like the famous historian book about the entire thing. And
were when survivors in the 70s were talking about the sinking, they kept saying it's split in half, and they're like, take her mic away. She's not saying it right. And of course, when Robert Ball discovered it, they're like, oh, those senile Titanic survivors were right. It did split in half.
Yeah,
it didn't sink in one piece.
But they had that as a detail in Night to Remember. Like you could actually see the ship sink in half, and it's like a fraction of the budget that, you know, James Cameron had, which the budget kept going up and up and up for Titanic. But it's like, you know, they did actually like a pretty good job staging it, and kind of showing like the things. And I think you could tell James Cameron taking a lot of those details from A Night to Remember, which, you know, I mean, I think is actually a pretty good movie.
That's the only film that really showed it.
Yeah, well,
there's
a whole bunch.
Film that blamed the Jews for this.
Yeah, there was a Nazi propaganda.
I saw a couple clips from it, but I've never seen it as a movie.
Yeah, I never did until like I never even really had the urge to until this, and I was like, I wonder, like, because I like the, you know, the more accurate version of and it's actually not that different. I mean, James Cameron actually takes like there's entire conversations and stuff in that movie that are mirrored in this. It's almost like it's kind of crazy when you watch something and it's like two different versions of the same exact, just two versions of the same thing, but you can actually see like they have similar looking characters playing the characters, like the captain and everything.
Right? Yeah. Like, it's like alternate universe situation or something. Yeah.
Well, one guy.
It's the captain's alt.
I forgot who was in both movies. There was one actor who was in both movies.
Oh, is that the case? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
That was crazy.
One thing I forgot. Yeah.
Well, one
ahead.
thing a lot of people, are like, we know the ship sinks. We see the little, little like dot, like a little video to explain, like, but that means it's not going to be climactic or suspenseful when it does happen. And I'm like, the score says otherwise, because every time I watch it, I'm like, move, just come on, you got it, you got this. No, okay, well, maybe next time I watch it, it won't hit this time.
I completely forgot about the whole scene where like literally like the night before it sinks, or I guess a couple of days before it sinks, they're having the big he's with the rich people right after he saves Kate Winslet from falling off the ship, and he's in that thing, and they're all sitting around the table together, and like his thing is like, I just love life and being alive, and I love living, and you never know what's gonna happen tomorrow because tomorrow's another day. And being alive is basically my favorite thing. And if you have good luck, things are gonna be great. And I think I'm gonna live a long, happy life. But everyone's like, here, and it's like, oh man.
Oh, that's the one that's like, we're gonna go down like Ben. I'm like, respect.
Well, yeah, and it's you get this kind of literally rich tableau. Nice. This literally rich tableau of these different peoples that are all, they're
real people,
especially in the upper class. That is a mix of people that were actually real people and created for the movie. But I mean, Molly Brown's a real person. Who's one of the more interesting characers. In my opinion,
new money, very charitable.
Yeah. And she did a lot of. She was like a political activist and stuff. Like she was like a lot of
suffragette. Well, all right. So her backstory is kind of fascinating because her husband, who she was like, her husband and her had a very happy marriage, and they were like, she loved that was her favorite person in the world. But he was like a mining engineer, and they were like, just a guy working at one of the gold mines. But they had some problem where they couldn't find, the silver boom happened in the 1890s, and so they're like, all right, well, we can't pull silver out of the ground. We're looking for gold. We're looking for iron ore. And her husband just happened to be the mining engineer that struck gold at this mine. And they said, all right, well, we'll give you an ownership, like a bunch of stock in this mine. And it was like one of the biggest after that, like one of the most expensive mines in, that we really had as Americans. So they became rich basically overnight.
And you could tell that some like Rose's mother still looked down upon her because it's not like she came from generational wealth. She was
lucky. New money. Like she was considered a vulgarian. It's funny, she's very much, and maybe I just have Hawks on the mind because I just did that episode with Eileen, but she's like the quintessential Howard Hawks woman, which is she's like no nonsense, she's funny, she's kind of rude sometimes, she's like we'll take the piss out of everyone, and which is great and much needed. It would be a very stodgier movie without having her around and having everyone kind of react to her and be like,
Well, I keep on forgetting that Frances Fisher, as progressive.
Their monocles popping out in surprise,
plays, the, type of, mother who's in debt and forces her daughter off to marry a rich guy.
That's such a more fascinating
with Clint Eastwood at the time too. So
that's so much more of a fascinating part of it because it's not just that they're old money and they're very rich. Is that they actually don't have if she doesn't get her ass married to Cal, the Billy Zane,
they're broke.
They're gonna be the bottom rung of society pretty much because they're permanently embarrassed. Temporarily embarrassed?
They're permanently embarrassed millionaires. Yeah, exactly. Good one. No,
but it's all she has at that point, right? Is the ability to be snooty,
Yeah, well, and there's a lot to it that works because of that too. So that's one of the reasons why, why is she being such a jerk? It's well, that's why.
But all the pitfalls falls on Rose, and you can tell how unhappy she is, and and how she wants, something different from her life because there's so much expected of her. And of course, Jack is the one who kind of shows her that there is other things out there.
Well, and kind of
like,
strikes.
yeah.
Oh, it strikes a chord in like things that she already felt about herself. The fact that like she was being a caged bird, basically, and for for the family.
Necklace of weight.
Right, exactly. She was
such a device that's used a lot. Oh, I'm going to give you this nice, very heavy jewelry that doesn't symbolize anything other than I just
you better
you
hope the boat doesn't sink. This is heavy jewelry.
They
this
did.
is the kind
Yeah,
of jewelry
no wonder.
that could make
No wonder
you
it
sink
went
into
down.
the water.
Yeah.
But like
They
she
didn't
has
it.
she has ambitions other than like marrying rich and like things that she wants to do with her life other than marrying rich, and to the point that like her interactions with him kind of reignite that and be like, oh, I'm making a terrible mistake, right? Although it's pretty clear she's kind of leaning towards that from the beginning. It's like I don't really
that
want
whole
to do
spitting
this.
I mean,
so
but
funny.
you see the guy
the spitting
beat
scene
shit out of
it's
her.
Chekhov's spit is well deployed in this picture.
Yeah.
Like when there's that like teach me how to spit. Yeah.
The guy does not do himself any favors. He every time she's in the room with him, he's like, like hitting her and like smacking her and like smacking her around. Like he's just the depiction of, because you could see like a version of this where there's a more mild mannered, let's say, rich guy that she kind of has feelings for or something. But this guy's just he's trying to be an alpha the whole time by beating the shit out of her.
Well, yeah, he's compensating it in ways that are very destructive for everyone around him. As what happens with a lot of times when dudes especially do that, especially dudes of privilege. But I think that it's it's notable just how, I mean, it's you don't really get. He's like the least well-rounded character, because even you're like, oh, he's gonna save that kid. Oh, so he can get on the boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
he does.
Cal's the real
He literally,
because he was going to save Rose from a life of poverty or whatever. I'm like, no.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
He literally uses the kid as a human shield.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, no, this guy's the worst, man. This guy sucks.
Fighting in the Middle East.
Yeah, he's R.I.P. Cal. You would have loved Israel. But no, there's just there's so much to this that like the Leonardo DiCaprio character then can be like our version of a we're in this as him, right? Like he's the everyman character experiencing everything on the ship, which is kind of a brilliant way to do this, because we're looking at something that happened in 1912 and like how much can a person even in 1997 get into the headspace of someone on the Titanic. Well, you kind of can, but there's like a mixture between kind of a cluelessness or a naivete, I guess, that Leonardo DiCaprio's like Jack has, but also like a swag to him, or like a he has like the he always knows what to say. There's something like very charming about that, and it's like both kind of like a wish fulfillment and like an everyman character for us as males to get into like the
sure. And it's like it's one of those things where it can be aspirational too, because you see the Leo character, like he basically has to hustle to survive. So he's good at working through situations. Like he's smart, he's cagey. He also knows like when to shut up, which is something that I think a lot of times when people who are of that persuasion are depicted, it's always like, oh, come on, you wouldn't. They would know better than to say it than to like tag it with that. Or it's like sometimes you just gotta like And I think that's super well done here. I don't know how much that's script versus Leonardo DiCaprio's performance, but I mean I think it's done well, and I think it's a nice entry point for people that are like, all right, whatever. Because of course every guy is gonna be like, well, Kate Winslet's gorgeous. Obviously, she's like still is, but like it's like one of those things where it's like that's never gonna be in question. But if you're asking guys, and I'm talking about people that are like listening or watching to this show, but if you're asking guys all around the world to engage with us on the level that they did to make it this mega blockbuster, one of the highest grossing pictures of all time, then you're going to need something to sort of put the cheese around the pill a little bit. And the fact that Leo's character is cool, for lack of a better term, that's it. Yeah. And it's done perfectly. It's not overdone. It isn't like,
It brings the guys.
The Snake Plissken thing isn't
realize-
happening. That's Jack. He's the coolest. No, we all know that. We don't need you to freaking tell us. Thank you.
They get brought in by like the Leo character, but then they end up like, oh, this story's really good. Oh, why am I crying at this ending? What?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely. Right, and so and that's a lot of things. I understand that this is a movie that many people have many emotional reactions to. I don't think it would be possible for me to have that, just because again, it's just been so saturated in the culture.
Yeah,
I know every story beat. It's like it's hard to turn off the analytical brain a little bit. But I mean, there's definitely like emotional beats that like I was like, that's incredibly effective. That's the
effective part I think for me is seeing all the bodies in the water.
Yeah, there's an actual body count. It's not an abstraction, right? There are literal human lives that like and the way
mother with the baby.
Yeah, the way he shows it, where you just see the people in the lower decks, and it's like they're gonna get drowned in the hallway, let alone get on a freaking one of the lifeboats, and it's just horrifying. And for me, those are. Like, there's a different version of this movie that's, like, not an art house film, but, like, not the mega blockbuster that it is right now. That spends a little less time with the love story and more times on that. But it's kind of like the magic trick of the movie that it doesn't do that. Like, but it shows you enough that, like, it's you're like, oh, wow, that's effed up. That's really terrible.
That's kind of the way I felt about A Night to Remember, sitting there watching that, because it was, the entire thing was kind of spending time with the people on the ship, and like as well as the which this movie doesn't really tackle as much, which I think it would have been harder if they did, but they really honed in on the fact that there's like two other ships that were around. One of them, the captain just went to sleep and was like, all right, I'm tucking in, and that was the ship that was closer to the Titanic. So that ship actually didn't get their distress signal because everyone was kind of napping and they were kind of drunk, and like I think it was the California was that one, and then the Caledonia was the one that eventually comes and rescues them at the end of this, and then is looking for survivors. But throughout this, there's these great like scenes in that movie where it's like you're on the ship with these guys, and these guys are listening into the Titanic's like multiple ships are listening into the Titanic's things, and it's like people being like, oh, can you take the money from this account and put it in this account, or like it's always some kind of luxury thing, and these guys are just sitting there like envy, pretty much being like, oh, there goes that giant Titanic ship again that everyone's been talking about. Look at wow, there's diamonds on the ship, like.
Yeah, there's so many conspiracy theories about this thing in the Titanic, but like some of the things, like the scene with the Irish mother, who we all recognize from previous James Cameron films like Aliens and Terminator 2. She plays the Irish mother with the two kids who just decides like, yeah, we're just gonna go down the ship. There's no way in hell we're gonna get out of here. And of course, the Strasses who own Macy's, they did go down together. And
that's their business.
Surprisingly, they are the great-grandparents of the wife of the dude who built the Titan that imploded. Yeah.
One thing that I want to mention again, we mentioned it during Terminator 2, but this is the time period, or right before this is the time period where James Cameron finally got together after like years of dating. Well, they dated for a few years, but finally got married to Linda Hamilton, and then very quickly he and Linda Hamilton got divorced. During this, because the everything kind of blew up in the filming of this, and the budget went up and up and up, and it was like this really stressful time. But because the divorce happened in the middle of like right as this film hit big, she got to keep half the money from Titanic, and she was just set for life after that.
That's amazing. Yeah. Good for Linda. So
you guys want to get into the plot summary?
We probably should. But it's interesting. I don't think I'll ever have this experience again. Like, because I don't think we're never going to have a monocultural movie like this again, which is a larger discussion. But like, it's fascinating that like I have all these letterbox lists of like different movies or whatever, and that was like 99% complete because I hadn't watched it. So that's like I checked off a bunch of things. I can tell you this though, never would have done it if we hadn't done it for the show. And it's not because I didn't like it, but I just never felt the need to for whatever reason, and that's fine. Yeah, that's totally fine.
I mean, it's kind of like it's something like well, now there's been too many of them for this really to be the case, but it's something like when the last two kind of Marvel movies came out, and it was kind of this like
Right.
You know, the
Endgame or
Infinity
something.
War.
Yeah,
and there was this big moment around it where everyone was going to the movie theater.
That's the closest we've gotten, probably.
Yeah. It's like it's almost like it's
lines of people waiting. Yeah.
It's an event rather than like a film in
That's
some
right.
way.
That's
like,
right.
Yeah.
Well, and it's crazy. It's crazy, and we do gotta get the plot summary. But it's crazy. It's crazy that nobody expected to hit this big. In fact, people were also like, I don't know, we got this thing.
The
seems
tabloids,
like it's pretty
dude,
long.
I have a clip of James Cameron talking about this that I could play in the after party if we do one. But there's the tabloids were having a field day. Just a lot of it was made up stories, but some of it wasn't made up stories. Just going, oh, James Cameron's giant boat movie. Look at this, and they're like, he's never gonna make a movie again. James Cameron, he's cooked. Like this thing is not going well. And even as he's editing it, they're still going like, oh, James Cameron's big flop.
Didn't somebody call it his water world, which is like
yeah, they did. And so they're just making fun of him and talking. And then he said that it opens up and it's like around Christmas time, and it opens up and everyone's going to see it, and it does this thing that movies don't even do now. Where I guess
I remember this. I was like not. I mean, I wasn't like, I was like 20, like when it came out, but like I was like, wow, everyone's seen this movie about the boat. Okay.
Well, it does, and
I almost went to see it when I saw Kate Winslet was in it, because of course I loved Heavenly Creatures, but I was like, I don't know.
Just think,
it did the thing that was
how different things would have turned out.
I know, right?
The reason I think that this is such a big deal this year with that movie Obsession is the same thing with Titanic, where it opens up and people go to see it. A decent amount of people go see it, but then the word of mouth gets around, and the next weekend usually it cuts by 50 to 60%.
But this went the other way. They went more. Yeah. And that's how you.
It was the same thing.
11 times.
And that happened. Exactly, just one person. But that happened with Terminator. That happened with Terminator 2. I mean, that's kind of been the running theme. I guess you almost call this James Cameron month, right? I mean, like it seems like he's had it happen multiple. We could even do with the Avatar movie if we wanted to, but
this one was such a bigger version of that phenomenon because so it's like 250. He had to make back, probably twice the amount of money. So he probably had to make back 500 million because he used 250 million, I believe, and. It just keeps going. So it becomes the first movie to gross over $1 billion, and which is just an unheard of sum of money at this time. I mean, now
this is the 90s. Yeah. I mean, that's what's so crazy is like that's still a good amount of money now. I mean,
now we have $1 billion. Now we have like $1 billion movies that know that have to make over that, right? Like to succeed.
But like I think that it's interesting that it held that position for so long. What was it eventually? What unseated it? Was it Endgame, or was it like was there something?
I think it was Endgame or Infinity War. That actually I think it was Avatar that. It was like up until
Avatar.
James Cameron movie baited another James Cameron movie. He really was like, I'm going to top Titanic.
So it beat Jurassic Park in '93, which held the record before, and then for 12 years it had until Avatar. All right.
And then Avatar got beaten by Avengers Endgame.
And then Top Gun Maverick. Wow. Okay. Really? That made that much money? Okay. Planes that go zoom. Yeah, exactly.
Everyone's like, you gotta go see these planes go zoom.
I mean, to be fair, the planes did go zoom, and that's exactly what I expected, was looking for. So I was not disappointed.
And it's like ship that goes sink in this movie.
All right. So in 1996, aboard the research vessel Academic Mitislav Keldysh. I don't know. I'm probably butchering the Russian.
We're gonna work on that name too.
Treasure hunter Brock Lovett and his team explore the wreck of the RMS Titanic, hoping to find a necklace known as the Heart of the Ocean. Instead, they recover a safe containing a drawing of a young woman, titties out, wearing the necklace. The sketch is dated April 14th, 1912, the day the Titanic struck an iceberg and sank, resulting in about 1,500 deaths. I like the use of Bill Paxton for.
Oh yeah, he's great in this. I was like, I didn't realize he was even in the movie. I was like, yeah.
He got to explore the sinking once or twice, and he was terrified because he was worried that he was gonna die down there somehow. I'm like, come on, man. You can
it's also one of the first. You're gonna live. It's one of the first things you get to see is like he's doing the whole, like, he's obviously the James Cameron stand-in character. and he's kind of a scumbag, but he's doing his whole exposition thing where he's like, oh, I feel this this passion in me seeing the Titanic. Like he's doing his whole monologue, and the guy's like,
"You're so full of shit, boss."
Yeah.
So I find it amazing that it was only 11 years earlier that the mystery of Al Capone's vaults had happened with Geraldo Rivera.
Oh, and nothing was in there.
Which I think that's been like forgotten by modern history, but I cannot overstate how big of a deal this was and how a lot of people that were annoyed by Geraldo Rivera, including me and my dad, were just like, ah, but there was like nothing in it.
The fact that he managed to somehow recover from that. That
dude could not work for years because of that. But there's even like a reference to it in there.
He did. It's actually funny to think about this because I just saw there was like some clip going around where it's him on like Piers Morgan, and both of them are obviously like, you know, just shells of their former selves when they were TV hosts, right? Like so I was just thinking about it because of that. He's like, you know, he's talking to, and there's like, or I saw another clip where he's talking to like must have been Geraldo week or something. He was talking like Bill O'Reilly, and they were also like shells of their former TV stuff. Yeah. He's like, it's like the what do you call it? Like the Island of Lost Misfit.
Right, because Bill O'Reilly had like what was it was the one with the triangle. It was like some
Killer the Baby Killer thing he did.
Tabloid show that like he had, like they all had like
do it live.
Yeah,
Inside
that's
Edition?
where that's from. Inside Edition. Yeah, there you go. That was but like it's so it's interesting that that's referenced as being like, you know, the worst possible outcome for this expedition. Right.
He just becomes like you know, the only reason that Geraldo really got saved, he became like a go-to Fox guy, where Fox is like, you know, we'll bring him in as a stand-in anchor.
Look at Dennis Miller, right? Dennis Miller was cooked as a comedian, so just like, all right, I'll just. It's
always so funny though, because I obviously like remember the heyday of like Geraldo, and you know, just having like his you know, his face everywhere, and as like, you know, his show and stuff. But like it's so funny to think like, oh, let's get Geraldo's thoughts on this. But it's always something like, you know, the Israel-Palestine conflict. And it's like, like who wants Geraldo's thoughts on this? Like,
yeah, exactly. We don't.
Let's hear what does Geraldo have to say about October 7th? It's like, why would you ask Geraldo about October 7th?
Ask him for like celebrity news instead.
We bring it back to the plot side, but there's a lot here.
Yeah, the sketch. You know, after seeing the television report about the discovery, Centenarian. Rose Dawson Calvert contacts Lovett. Really, she's the woman in the drawing. Hoping she can help locate the necklace, Lovett brings Rose and her granddaughter aboard the Keldysh, where Rose recounts her experience on the Titanic.
Yeah, that scene where they give the diet, like, you know, show the video, and she's just like, you can see it like as that guy's explaining. She's like, you could tell in her mind she's reliving like the actual experience because she's looking a little traumatized watching him talking. That's a big ass. Her whole ass is hanging up in the air or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, she's kind of, the experience was much different for her, dude.
But it's also like there's, you know, you can tell it's such a Hail Mary. They do a good job of this in the filming of the movie. It's such a Hail Mary. Like, this old woman is probably a crank. Like, there's no way she's actually the woman in the drawing. She just called. And like even the granddaughter's like, my grandma just really wanted to come here, I guess. Like,
right. Well, and that's something that it seems like such an unlikely story that like someone from that could still be alive. Period. Let alone, and this is probably the last time you could have done that too. But then, let alone like have this, you know, this personal story. So then we have this thing where so the framing device is like this is told in she's telling the story. And
it's been 84 years.
And there's like, I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't look at the timestamp for when it happened, but I feel like it's like, it goes on for a bit. Like, it's sort of like, oh, he's not like hurrying to get there. But like,
I forgot about that. I think it was 30 minutes. It's like 25 or 30 minutes in.
Yeah. So but all that works. So, I mean, that's, it's a lot to ask of the viewer, but look, I mean, I think that part of it works. That's not a problem.
But I also think it would be a lot to ask the viewer to just jump right in, right? Like, I mean, I
think you got a different movie, and I think you don't get the wraparound at the end where you get like the catharsis. It just be like, oh, all right, I guess he died. Okay, that sucks.
Yeah. In 1912.
Well,
and that's his impact. Sorry, Forrest, but that's like. shows that the real impact that they had on her life is so profound because it made her realize she wasn't living the life that she wanted to live, and so therefore she changed her actions very suddenly to do that. And then also she brings up a very good point, again, class conscious, that like, yeah, there is a picture of her with titties out, as you so eloquently said, Forrest. And they don't have a picture of Jack.
It was Wikipedia summary.
Yeah, she don't even have a picture of him.
Because
they didn't exist.
Because for if you were poor, you pretty much didn't. You didn't have like paintings made of you or whatever.
Yeah.
Those lines. So anyway, yeah. So continue.
In 1912, 17-year-old Rose DeWitt Bukater boards the Titanic in Southampton with her wealthy fiance Cal Hockley and her mother Ruth. By the way, Cal Hockley, great asshole rich guy name.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, it's up with Sterling or something. Where it's like, oh my god, that's a great.
Yeah, it's like Cal. Like Rose is unhappy in her loveless engagement, but Ruth stresses that the marriage will resolve their financial problems. Rose contemplates suicide by jumping from the ship's stern, but is stopped by Jack Dawson, a poor nomadic artist. Blows right past the fact that Jack, the summary that Jack has to gamble his hand, wins his.
He wins the
tickets.
tickets.
America.
Yeah.
How the fuck he got overseas in the first place? We'll never know.
And then Fabrizio, his buddy, is like, "I am also from America."
yeah. And they're like, whatever, get on. We want to get going.
I'm the king of the world. Again, another thing that's iconic.
Yeah.
People are obsessed. Are obsessed.
The vibes
with
are good.
Tech.
The first day, everything's
everyone
good.
That
The
comes
vibes
in,
are good.
Yeah.
The ship's going. Everyone's happy. They're talking about we need more press for the Titanic and all that stuff. So you get to see a lot of the inner workings of like the people who helped fund the ship, who built the ship, and what is going on in their heads too when they're having these discussions.
I understand the idea of like getting on a ship, especially at this time when obviously there's no like planes to get from England to America. I will never understand the cruise ship thing where it's like you don't get off the ship at any point. The one you did, Conan, sounds a triangle status situation.
The one we did, we sailed for a few days and we stopped for like a day in like Cozumel, Mexico, and then we got back on the ship, and that was great. But yeah, if you're just out at sea for that long, I mean, don't get me wrong. When I saw like the land receding, I'm like, oh man, this is crazy. I've never done anything like this before.
Did I make a mistake?
I mean, I could I don't know how many times I've flown, like so many times, like, and driving is like practically, my actual job, really. Everything else is just incidental to it. But yeah, like there is something different being in a ship. Mm-hmm. They don't like it when you call it a boat, by the way. It's a ship.
I'm on a boat.
Drive the boat and shut up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't think you could like the Titanic. Like, I could definitely get it with the Titanic or something like that.
No, yeah, but like, it's like all right.
You're like, oh, this is a boat. Like I could get me like, no, this is a ship. This is something different. It's funny. It's funny rewatching this in the era, I guess, of watching the Odyssey as well, because it's obviously it's one of the greatest real life tales of hubris.
Right. Absolutely.
Where just calling it an unsinkable ship is a Greek mythology level hubris, where it's like that ship is of course going to sink.
Flying too close to the sun.
It's not Icarus. It's Shipperus. No, but so there's we like. Just the effect of like the monoculture and how many different things have either homaged or like parodied it. There's that guy that made those.
Did the same thing.
I said this to you guys and like to Discord, but there's the Thumbtanic, where it's the guy that made the Star Wars with thumbs, and he made Batman with thumbs. But every time I see I'm the king of the world in that movie, he goes, I'm the king of the globe, and then the next guy steps up and he goes, I'm a dentist, and then he goes, and then they're just having each person gets up on the ship and then says something about himself. So there's like a guy that's like, I'm really a woman, and like each person just says something about themselves, and then you just go down the line of people. I always think about that every time I see I'm king of the world.
You guys were talking about like the monoculture and how it's been parodied and spoofed or whatever, but like or try to do a thing similar. Well, that movie Pearl Harbor with Ben Affleck and that movie was supposed to be Titanic on land, and it did not do a good job. It did a love triangle too.
I know the movie, and I know what you're saying, but that phrase cracked me up. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm imagining
It's
somebody-
Titanic on land. Okay, yeah. all
Hey,
right.
Lindsay Ellis did a good job explaining this, but like she has a point. Like the Pearl Harbor just did not work as like, oh, this is gonna be like Titanic. You know, we got love
Right.
triangle.
It's an
We have a
epic, but
framing
there's-
device.
yeah.
Pearl Harbor's happening. It just didn't work because
There
there
was
was
also
no
a movie
joy
called
to
From
the
Here-
connection. We didn't
From-
care about the characters enough.
From Here to Eternity, they did the same thing, but whatever. I
Yeah.
mean, that's
When is
neither here
they
nor
going
there.
to do one of these? I mean, like people have made jokes about this before, but like I want to see a version of this where it's 9/11, and it's like a love triangle happening that is happening in the World Trade Center with the backdrop being 9/11. And
Honestly, that doesn't sound like a bad idea. Let me get
yeah, it's like so it's like, you know, they fall in love, they meet at the middle of the elevator, they fall in love, and just as they're gonna both leave their wives, 9/11 happens.
Yep.
Uh,
And there's and then which tower though, north or south? Because I mean, anyway.
well, one of them is from the North Tower, one of them is from the South Tower, obviously. They meet in the middle.
We're for
like-
different
they meet in the
competing
middle.
companies. Okay, Forrest, I see where you're going with this.
So Jack and Rose form a friendship, and Jack confesses his feelings. We're just really blowing through this movie right here. And Jack
Yeah.
confesses his feelings for her. Although
Well,
initially resistant, Rose realizes she's falling in love with Jack despite Cal and Ruth's
Oh my god!
disapproval.
Yeah, this is this is like it was like an hour of
We're
movie
missing
before that happens.
She's going below deck, and she's again when he saves her, at first she's a
There's
little
like the hoedown that
at
happens.
first when he saves, she still kind of acts like I'm this upper class and you're beneath me thing. Like when she learns that he's an artist that he draws, and she's like, oh, you got talent, and eventually they start talking, and she's like, I want you to teach me to ride a horse like a man, spit like a man, do all these like strong, independent things that a man can do that women are it's frowned upon.
Because the truth is she's actually trans, and that's what we learned.
Yes, exactly. And of course, and her mother realizes something's up between these two.
Well, and wants to put an end to it immediately, and is like quite a biz nasty about it because again, she's looking at like this dude's like how they survive, what she would consider survival, which of course is staying in the privileged camp, right?
Also, briefly, can we talk about how wrong Cal is about art? He literally thought Picasso was going to amount to nothing.
So is that right? I think that's in the deleted scenes, right? But like
No,
that's
in the movie.
Is it in the movie?
yeah.
That cracked me because that tells you so. Like, first of all, it's like funny. That's when I was saying funny. But like, it's also. I think it's a little longer in the deleted scenes is what it is. Like, you actually see some of the art and whatever. But like, you get to know so much about that character just in that exchange and how and what he thinks of art in general. And we're talking about someone that like she's an artistic person. Like, she has her own creativity, but more than that, she someone who art is important in their life, and he is not. He's the opposite of that. He is artless.
Yeah, and that's why she connects with Jack. She's like, "Oh,
Well,
I feel like have talent."
You get. I feel like you get two different characterizations where I can imagine a situation where she ends up with Cal and she's miserable, but like the one thing bringing her any kind of joy is the collection of these rare art pieces that she's like fascinated by. But of course, it also gives her an in with later to Jack is obviously like a talented young artist, and she's that. So that it does a good job teeing up the hate me like one of your draw me like one of your French girls, and
you'll be amazed.
Yeah. Well, it also it wouldn't work if like the sketches weren't good too. Yeah, I'm sure there's been some meme of like he shows a sketchbook as like stick figures or something, where it's like.
and another thing too, again, because we skipped the dinner scene, but like Molly Brown understands that Jack is poor and he knows nothing about this world, so she like here you can wear my son's old suit. Here,
she kind of takes care of
him.
Yeah.
She takes him in like a mother figure because she probably didn't really have a mother when he was younger.
Yeah.
So
she's got pieces she's got Picasso pieces. She's got Matisse. She's got some of his stuff in there. She's got there's one other thing I wanted. Oh, so we're also in the moment of the suffragettes, which one of the big things that the unsinkable Molly Brown becomes after this, right? One of the big things is she gets involved with helping families of the Ludlow massacre when that happened 2 years after the Titanic, which it's this huge catalyzing event for labor, but it's also a big moment because women get very involved in helping out, like especially like socialites. And so she becomes one of the, like, the most prominent suffragettes, which is obviously in the political system, women taking ownership of having a political life and having having more than just being somebody's property and spouse and a mother and a wife and kind of being treated like property in America. Like, it's women taking ownership and getting involved and being kind of empowered in that moment. And I think this movie does, without talking about like the suffragettes and stuff, does a good job kind of showing that moment in American history.
Yeah, I just like the whole like scene with the dinner where Rose is telling Jack about all these rich people and kind of like some like little like gossip about them that kind of goes like that's kind of like elephants in the room or stuff that doesn't get like talked about a whole lot. Because John Jacob
the guy with the wife
did have a
that's,
17-year-old wife that was pregnant at the time and she survived.
Yeah, she's
like
giving
that.
him all the dirt. She's giving him
Yeah.
the tools he needs to kind of survive in this
Blend in.
environment.
And like, are you part of the Boston Dawsons? Know that Chippewa Falls. He's like, oh
Yeah,
I know,
and
I know
it was
them.
it was
Okay,
John
Victor.
Jacob Astor the fourth. I think was like the richest guy on the ship because obviously Astor is one of like the big names in American history. Like, he's one of the first big titans of industry that we really have. The great grandfather, and by this point, like that family is so loaded. They own like the hotels. They own so much stuff by that point.
There's so much stuff that has their names on them still to this day.
John Jacob Astor actually went down with the ship, like actually helping save people, which is, I don't think our version of rich people would do today.
Oh my God, yeah, there's no way. There's no
there's
chance.
a scene where he's like cutting he used something like a butter knife with the life jacket, like helping, he's helping, Madeline, because he's like, you're my wife and you're pregnant, also the guy, the Archibald dude who's like, we're gonna get a brandy and go down the ship like men. I'm like, okay, cool.
I think maybe RFK Jr. would like hold out like a large cartoon Fred Flintstone ham hock or something from Roadkill to like lead someone up. But that's about it from this group.
It just means how different rich people seemed back then.
Yeah. Elon Musk on the Titanic, he's grabbing the kid.
I have a child.
I have a child. We don't need to imagine. He's that Cal Huntley kid.
Pretty much that character.
Yeah. I could pass it. I could pass it off to whoever wants it from here.
Christina, you go ahead. I don't have it open. Sorry, I closed it.
So Rose brings this again. That whole monologue about you got a fire in you, he's gonna burn out, blah blah blah, whatever. I'm flying. Okay, so Rose brings Jack to her stateroom, asks him to draw her nude, wearing only the necklace. Afterwards, they evade Cal's valet, Spicer Lovejoy. I forgot his name was Spicer. Spicer Lovejoy. That's a good name for like the assistant guy who's in charge of being like the muscle and in charge of like spying and shit.
He's really good. He's the fixer. Yeah. Dave Warner. Yeah, he's like an ex-Pinkerton, right? That's like his backstory, which is sort of like, okay, that makes sense. By the way, we didn't mention she was going to commit suicide, like when they first met. Like that's, I think, I guess the person who wrote this plot summary didn't think that a salient fact to include, but like. Yeah, so I mean,
no, it's in there. It was a couple, but they blew past everything else. So
yeah. I know what ice fishing is.
Well, she was gonna commit suicide, and that says so much about like her position here as like someone who's kind of forced into this unhappy situation. But it also allows for Jack to seem like he's a smooth operator, and he's like the water's pretty cold down there.
Yeah. Right. Well, you guys know that with the drawing scene, that was James Cameron's hands that were drawing Kate Winslet, right?
I did not know that.
Pinkertons, by the way, are a detective agency that got started after, like, around the time of the Civil War by Pinkerton was the name of the detective, but they became union busters and like kind of all-purpose mercenaries for corporate America.
Still around, by the way.
Oh, chat was asking, so we gotta answer the questions.
You gotta answer.
Anyway, they get chased around.
So he's an opposite Tarantino. He likes hands.
Just her hands.
I'll give it up for that.
I
Good
feel
one.
like, you know what? Maybe that was a dig at Tarantino. Like, you must have had just with her hands. Anyway, they get chased around and they have sex in a car in the cargo hold. The hand.
Well, and it's funny because
remember-
there's that the coyishness that happens with the Gloria Stewart older Rose is like, well, get your minds out of the gutter. I'm not, whatever she says. I can't remember where she's like telling the story and everyone's like, oh, it's getting good.
Up until that, you're just like, did we do it?
I remember being like 8 or 9 or something. I wanted to do Titanic at my friend's house on the double VHS tape and be like, I know what they're doing in that car.
yeah, exactly. Right.
If this car is a rockin'.
Yeah. But everything's good. Everyone's happy. Jack and Rose are gonna get off the ship together. Everything's good.
Those two are especially happy.
Are even spying on them, and but then on the forward deck, they witness the ship's collision with an iceberg. And officers discussing the severity of the situation. By the way, that again was blowing past probably the best moment in the entire, because everyone's like, yeah, we know the ship sinks, but like, what leads up to it? What is the tension? What is the vibe? And the guy, the composer, it starts with like the instrumental "My Heart Will Go On," and then it goes into like that suspenseful like dread when the guys see the iceberg approaching, and it's like, and I'm like, uh-oh. Okay.
Yeah, didn't they know something was going to happen when they heard the music change? Come on.
Oh, the music's changing. We're gonna.
Uh-oh, something scary's happening.
They're like, iceberg right ahead. That whole sequence of them trying to speed up and do as much as they can, like just learning the mechanics of how that ship was operating, and just how.
Well, and there's such a great
and suspenseful.
There's such a great like kind of subplot where Jonathan Hyde, who I always like him in whatever he's in, but I remember we talked about him in Jumanji, where he's the
that's right,
he's
yeah.
the hunter in Jumanji. But Jonathan Hyde had obviously in this movie is the rich moron that doesn't know how anything works, but has paid for the ship to get built, and he's the most kind of one of the most ineffectual characters, which I think is funny. But he's pressuring the captain to go faster because he thinks that they're gonna mob the ship when it comes, and he wants the headline not to be Titanic arrives and people are all over the place. But Titanic arrives early and fast,
faster than any ship ever has done. Yeah. He wants the prestige.
And there's the thing which I think is a real conversation, or what I was recorded with, or they had recorded, where it was the guy's like, I don't want the engines on the ship to be like, we need to test out these engines, like we don't actually know if the engines are gonna work, and like you need to break them in. And he's like, but wouldn't it be lovely if we arrived on Tuesday night tonight instead of Wednesday morning where we were planning to, like, think about what the newspapers would say. And that's kind of the lead up, which makes it so that obviously they don't have the ability to swerve past the iceberg.
Yeah,
and ignoring the warning signs of icebergs from other ships, like, there's some icebergs.
Which they're off the coast of
alley.
They're off the coast of Newfoundland. Like it's
icebergs don't exist over here.
Like you said,
anymore,
shipwrecks. They're flying too close to the sun, right?
Yeah.
There's also the hubris of it is we have not seen the likes of that very often in history. As far, I mean, I guess you could say like the Hindenburg, but like there's. As far as like this kind of thing of like, hey, we're going to show that we're the best. Yeah, and then with the Hindenburg, it was literally like, oh yeah, that ended blimps.
Yes.
Like those are no longer anything that could happen.
Had time travel back in 1937, I would be like, why are there swastikas on the thing? They're like, what do you mean? Oh, it's not 1939 yet. Carry on.
In that movie though, they had they go over the.
We got a micro version of the Ocean Gate. That is true. Although I don't think people
going to hell. I was laughing my ass off during that whole scenario.
I don't think that has the same appeal for people in the same way, like going underwater, unless you're a James Cameron type. Like that is just like that's your deal.
He was the first person. Everyone's like, let's see what James Cameron thinks. And he's like, oh, it probably imploded because of cycle fatigue because he used carbon fiber, and everyone's like, oh, he knows this stuff, and he was right.
Yeah.
But they also in Knights Forever, they go over the fact that it is Iceberg Alley, but because it's April, they don't necessarily think that the icebergs are going to be around that time.
That's right.
Yeah, but it happened to be a particularly warm winter that winter, so the icebergs are kind of detached from the Arctic.
Breaking off. Yeah. All right. So they're discussing the severity of the situation now, right? Let's get.
Wait, there's a super chat. A review that sticks out was from my grandma, who said that the movie was good, but I knew how it would end.
Also, again, this is where you take out VHS 1 and put in VHS 2.
Yeah. I remember that. I remember that.
I believe you'll get your headline now, Mr. Esme. So when Cal discovers Jack's sketch of Rose, he has Lovejoy plant the necklace on Jack, framing him for theft, because of course. Jack is arrested and locked in the master's office, and Cal pockets the necklace.
Yeah,
he's sent below, knowing the ship is going to sink.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, that's, it's pretty... That's like sort of like the cruelty is the point kind of situation. He says something kind of funny. I'll be right here. Don't worry about me or something.
Yeah, I'll be right here. Don't worry about me. Oh yeah, like when she's trying to look for something. Because I mean, again, those 5 compartments are already flooded, and as Forrest pointed out, if they just hit the iceberg straight on, it would have just kind of like bobbed and just probably wouldn't have actually like sank. If not, it would have been taking hours and hours for it to sink, because all those compartments would not have been filled up as fast as it did when they went hard over.
And the unsinkable, the reason that it had the reputation of being unsinkable is because you have to fill up 5 of those compartments out of 16, and they're like, what are the odds that something will happen that they'll fill up 5 compartments out of 16? The ship is practically unsinkable because it's not like we're gonna hit an iceberg.
And most of those compartments will not get filled. It'll be fine. But then when you again, hitting the iceberg hard over, the position or whatever, the second tape open with Rose being slapped. That's right. It made all those giant holes and busted into all those compartments. So of course it got flooded real fast. So it took less than 2 hours to sink, obviously.
That's what Cal said. He said, "We're the sea people. This age of iron is almost over."
You want me to keep going?
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
As the Titanic sinks, women and children are prioritized for the lifeboats. By the way, that was not the official thing. They just suggested it. Wasn't like the women and children first. That was just suggested. It was not.
But the refrain over and over again of women and children first. That refrain goes so well for the league, because it's like
now it's like a thing that's
the meta expected
when ships are sinking.
It also gives it gives you the chance to see how these different men behave in this situation, because obviously the heroic and chivalrous thing is to stay behind and help women and children get in the boats. But there's characters like the Jonathan Hind character and Cal that are trying to do anything they can to get themselves into the boats, whereas a lot of people are obviously helping.
His family hated because he does die, but a lot of people, because they heard a gunshot, so I guess for dramatic purposes they made him kill himself because he felt bad and awful for shooting Tommy and mistakenly. But James Cameron had to do a apology to his family for portraying him like that in the movie. I was like, oh
yeah, people are still mad about that.
So
it does add to the chaos so much. So the guy's blows out his brains after he shoots the guy. It's just like, let's add to the general chaos a little bit. I mean, I think that might I would do something like that, because if there's no more lifeboats available, right? I think I would rather commit suicide than I would attempt to freeze.
Well, apparently, when I was in 3rd grade, we did our body temperature thing, and my body temperature is not 98, it's 96. So my teacher was like, "Kristina, you would have actually survived the Titanic sinking because your body temperature would not go into hypothermia or whatever." And I'm like, "Oh, because I'm 96, not 98."
I don't know if that's true.
Well, 95 is when you go into the hypothermia and you end up dying. That's what I remember looking up. And I was like,
all right, super chat, and I want to add a question to this.
Okay.
The super chat is, what would you and your band play as the ship went down? I want to ask, what would your band play as the ship went down?
Would you do a rock version near My God to Thee? What are we playing, Conan?
Sharks keep moving seems a little too obvious, doesn't it? Yeah, that's a good question. in the situation that the musicians are at, which I found, of course, I found that profound and moving, right? Where they're like, well, they're screwed, like they're not getting off of this. So it's like, well, we run around like crazy, or we continue to do what we love to do, which is to play and to find the joy in playing together.
It's scripted so well that they're all like, well, I guess this is it, and then they all go their separate ways. But then the one guy goes back to playing. And is like, I'm gonna play down with the ship, and they just come. Each one comes back and joins up,
and they all come back and they do it. Yeah, and it's interesting what the modern context for that is. Interesting. I guess we were worried about set time at that point, huh? Yeah, yeah, anything on the table. It's like, this is the final encore, everybody. But yeah, it's. I found that to be very. A very cool part of the story, like, and the whole thing of like them playing while all this chaos is going on is interesting as well, and which I believe is based in reality, right? That's the band playing on.
It is based on reality. They have found. I don't know why they asked the guy this, but the band leader, they asked what he would have played, like if the ship had went down, what he would play, like in an interview, like just a couple months before that, they happened to ask like if a ship was going down, what would you play? And he actually said
this thing was destined to sink is what we're getting at here.
No, but he said something like he said something crazy. Like he said, like I wouldn't play something like Dear My God's Thee probably because people are already sad enough. I would try to play something upbeat and like try to
something
stuff.
Yeah. Bombs over Baghdad, sure.
Travis, they have Travis Scott rapping as the Titanic goes down.
I mean, it's a crazy.
Well, I mean, I guess Astroworld, the Astroworld thing that happened is like the Titanic of today.
But yeah, I mean, that's again, that's a nice moment, and that's one of the things that where the movie's kind of most effective for me are the sort of smaller stories around the main characters. Like, and I think it's getting a window into like, their little, there's a bunch of like little British realism tragedies happening with characters that we like only see for, under 30 to 40 seconds. And I think that's, that it's, we don't see, like even with Odyssey, which we just did, that's not really Nolan's thing. Like there's like, there's people that are really good at that and interweaving stories and whatnot, like the Robert Altmans of the world, what have you. But like, we just don't see that a lot in big blockbusters, like because you don't need to. You don't need to do that. And if they do, things are going to be like there's 1/4 of the characters and they have like 5 times the story, which is exhausting. Like too much story is never a good deal. So it's interesting that. I mean, that's one of the things that kind of resonated the most with me. But like that's. Because you're in this disaster where everyone has different motivations for being there. Everyone has like different things that they're trying to do, but then you're in this situation where everyone's trying to do the same thing. And it's horrific because from the very beginning how it's going to end. And they know that not everyone's going to get out. In fact, they know the vast majority of them aren't. And that is a true disaster, a true horror.
Yeah. I love the So because
that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, the montage showing the mom with her kids in bed trapped in first class.
Yeah, again, another Jane. She was
Third
in
class,
Aliens. She was in Terminator 2. I didn't recognize her. I'm like, wait, but then again, she wasn't in brown face. So,
I love the I love the detail that they have in the conversation that they kind of just kind of spout off at one point before the ship starts sinking, where it's like obviously this is an unsinkable ship, and they're like, oh well, the lifeboats, we didn't add more lifeboats because it's going to ruin the aesthetics. They're like the aesthetics of the ship. We need this. We want this deck. This is the prime deck space, and if you just stack a bunch of lifeboats here, it's going to ruin the aesthetics. We're not going to sink anyway. And I just love that detail because it's such a it you could just imagine it with any number of billionaire passion projects where it's like, well, the aesthetics matter much more than the functionality of having lifeboats on the ship.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's pick it back up.
Rose rescues Jack and they return to the deck where Cal urges Rose to board a lifeboat, claiming he and Jack will board another. Cal unwittingly wraps his coat containing the necklace around her. I put the coat. Sorry, I was gonna say I put the necklace and the coat. I put the coat on her. As the lifeboat is lowered, Rose jumps back onto the ship, unwillingly to leave Jack behind. Enraged, Cal grabs a pistol and chases them through the flooding ship, but gives up when they escape. Cal joins the lifeboat by pretending to be a child's father. I have a child. I put the diamond in the coat.
Yeah.
I put the coat on her.
I do think that having him chase someone with a gun does kind of jump the shark a little bit. No pun intended, jump the shark, but it's just like all of a sudden it's just like, all right, we're adding, they're just like we're adding a gun to the mix, and it's like, I don't know, man. Like,
did you need the gun?
Yeah.
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 It's like, I know what I'll do. I'm just gonna shoot them both.
Yeah. I'll be doing your time together.
Chippewa Falls. Actually, I don't know about those two, but it's like 3.5 hours away. Like it's just like upstate, like towards Minneapolis. It's like closer to Minneapolis than it is to Madison or Milwaukee. But it is funny to hear Wisconsin mentioned. People love hearing Wisconsin mentioned in movies around here.
Wisconsin.
There's a Herzog movie that Strasik, where they end up in Wisconsin, and it's anyway a different movie that we're not talking about. But
there's the the Canadian version of that, right? Because James Cameron's obviously Canadian roots and stuff. I was watching a thing with that guy that does I think his name's Tom Power, that does the TIFF. He whenever a movie plays at TIFF, he kind of does the interviews with whoever comes to them,
mm-hmm.
and he's talking about like, oh, Newfoundland mentioned, yeah. I grew up near there, and that reminded me of like the Canadian version of the Chippewa Falls thing.
Right, yeah. Absolutely.
We going?
To me?
Yeah. Last two paragraphs, Conan.
All right, hold on. Cal turns light by pretending to be a child's father. As the flooded bow sinks, the stern rises into the air, and Jack and Rose cling to the railing. Crazy scene.
I know, that whole sequence, I'm like, oh, this is what really happened? And that's why, like, a lot of people, there's so many people, like, paintings of, like, the image of it, and again, that's another thing, like, James Cameron was like, did I get all that right? Oh, I got one thing wrong. Damn it.
Well, there's two things that people really love when it comes to like paintings. People really love anything that's a painting of like a ship on fire. People love those kinds of paintings, and then they also love the ship split in two. I think.
Yeah. And it's whether it's accurate or not, it's a crazy thrill ride aspect of things where they have to like move up to the other side of the bars because everyone's like falling and stuff like
gravity,
that.
Apparently, this thing.
Yeah, his buddy's girlfriend, who storyline is almost completely ditched, but Fabrizio's girlfriend, like, there's a whole like thing with them as well, like that.
Well, also too, there's the one guy who he survived because he kept drinking.
That's right.
He's like right next, like
that's me. That's me. If you got me in the shit.
Drinking alcohol. He looks like I was drinking that whole night. Once because the body temperature, alcohol does keep you warm.
Yeah,
and so like you can tell Rose looks at him and he's just like, yeah, this is it.
Yeah, that guy's in a Night to Remember too, because he's
that's him. Yep, that's him.
And he's taking shots. He's taking shots in his room,
Whiskey,
and then he falls back, and he's like, oh.
Yep.
And it's like I was watching that last night.
He played a guy. He survived the Titanic.
I was like,
sinking.
yo, that's me as the ship sinks.
Let's just grab whatever alcohol's handy. At least you'd be wasted if you're in there. So the ship splits in two. And the stern sinks into the freezing water with the remaining passengers. Again, incredible practical effects work with the place in Rosarita, the Baja Studios, which you can go to.
Which thank fucking God too, because it's like, dude, if you had to actually be in Newfoundland.
Yeah. Oh my God. Can you imagine? Yeah. So some other. Yeah. So they also it's in. Let's see. Tomorrow Never Dies, In Dreams, Deep Blue Sea, Weight of Water. Yeah. Master and Commander. That have all been filmed there amongst other things. But yeah, it's like they're very proud of it there. It's pretty funny because it's not a huge city.
There's like. It's such a like profound thing when they say it in the movie where it's like, the ship, basically the water is about to reclaim the ship, and it's like it's such a profound, like we watching it sink back in, and it's like the hubris of these of humankind that invents these kinds of monstrosities and tries to beat back nature by creating a ship that can't be sank, and obviously the ship does sink. It's like the ocean is such a terrifying adversary, and it's like the ocean reclaims its victim, reclaims the moment of hubris that humankind has dared to unleash upon it.
Well, and this summary, like, Stern sinks the freezing water with the Romanian passengers, except for the fact that we get to see so much of it. And we get to see, like, people falling. We see people falling and, like, hitting things on the way down. Like, it's like, whoa, man.
It's like, once the propellers are getting up, it's like, and then Molly Brown's like, God almighty.
Yeah, and so that's a fraud.
I can't even look, because that's all his fault.
A whole thing where, I don't know if I'm getting the exact sequence of this right, but the Fabrizio character, Cal, was going to start shooting, or the guy, either him or his valet was going to start shooting, and one of them was going to hit Fabrizio and then kill Fabrizio. And
I think one of the things falls on him, and that's what killed him.
Yeah.
But in like the original, like in the first script, he was gonna get like basically a cop like taking out somebody, and basically.
Jack helps Rose onto floating debris and makes her promise to survive and live a full life. Okay, so we gotta pause here for a moment to address.
Because she's like, I'm just gonna fall. And he's like, no, you're not. You're gonna. Again, this is a part that's like parodied. It was in Scary Movie 2 when like
17.
Where he's on the Oh no, you don't.
But I
do love.
You're gonna have a bunch of babies. You're gonna die warm in your bed at 100 years old. And I'm like, oh well, there you go.
Because that earlier scene where he's talking about like, I love being alive and being alive is great and my life is full and I love being wandering around and living life to the fullest, and everyone's like, here, but it works really well that he's like, all right, you're gonna have to do twice as much living for the both of us. Like,
I mean, so I knew all about this before seeing it, obviously ad nauseum, as well as all the like, they both could have fit on. What the hell? But then also, I mean, the thing to remember too is like, this is freezing water. This is, I mean, even if you were able to think logically and be like, okay, so as a master tactician of the waves, I understand that, like, the just distribution of weight has to be. You're not going to be able to think about that when your balls are frozen. I mean, to put it bluntly, sorry,
it took
not to be vulgar, but
15 minutes for those people to die from the hypothermia. So like a lot of the people on the boats were like, we were worried that if we went back now, people were going to swarm the boats and we were all going to be in the water together and die. So they're like, we wanted to come back when things had died down. Literally, they're like, we waited too long.
Yeah, well, so on that.
She's already gotten
hearing
drenched.
them like hear the cries get softer and softer made them realize, oh shit, they're all dead.
Well, but she's also already gotten drenched in that scene, so she's like, it's if she goes back in the water, she's a goner with the rest of them. It's just by the grace of like having air temperature be hotter, like being warmer than the water itself, and
So Jack dies from hypothermia, but Rose is saved by a returning lifeboat and rescued by the RMS Carpathia. All right, a couple things here. First of all, they could have gone back earlier, like all the rest of them, and they didn't. No, and one of the unsinkable Molly Brown, like was noted that like she
Come
did
on,
like,
ladies, it's your men out there.
Yeah, like she and apparently in reality she went like further than even than that, and like actually commandeered the boat and what have you. But they didn't go back because they were so worried about their own self-preservation that they didn't even bother. And so by the time they do, it's too late, right? And that's one of those things that that's human nature, unfortunately. Nobody would have expected this scenario at that time. So it's like,
and only 5 people were rescued. That goes to show that some of those 5 people have resilience.
Right.
To live.
Well, and there's
the guy who was drinking. I know there was an Asian man who was rescued. I don't know if maybe there was a woman who was rescued. I know total 5 people out of 1,500 who were in the water, mind you.
Yeah.
And there's a real story where that is where she got the unsinkable Molly Brown name. Molly Brown really is in the raft with the her like the first class passengers, and tries to rally them to go back and save more people, and they're just like, no, we're out.
I don't understand a single one of you.
So Rose hides from Cal and her mother and gives her name as Rose Dawson on her arrival in New York City.
Welcome to Ellis Island, where you can change your name and in records be damned.
Exactly. Then everything wasn't tracked in the same way that it is today. Titanic is overrated. Review Minions and Monsters. Okay, that's real cinema. Yeah. I mean, Josh, I think the conceit of this is also that I'm hopefully bringing a bit of a fresh perspective, having never seen it before Sunday. So
he did give 10 bits to.
I think he might have been being a little bit facetious. So okay, yeah. So this is she's rebuilding her life, right? And this goes rockets us forward to the present. So in the present, Rose reveals that Cal committed suicide after losing his fortune in the 1929 stock market crash. Couldn't happen to him.
Dude, that is such a great I feel like it's almost it's almost a meme where it's like after this he killed himself, he died, like, you know what I mean, like just
Poochie died on the way back to his home planet, right? Exactly. Yeah. It's like that level. Well, and it's like couldn't happen to a nicer guy, and also would be like in character for what was happening at that time. I mean, that was he was very much like that kind of guy. So
yeah, I'd rather die than lose everything.
She tells the Keldish crew that Jack saved her in every possible way and laments that her memories are all that she has left of him. Again, that goes back to what we were saying, that poor people didn't have their picture taken or drawn or
there's
anything.
No documents.
There's no documentation at all. It wasn't a thing that happened, which is crazy in this age where everything is documented. Doesn't matter who you are. There's like a billion freaking pictures. I'd rather be dead than poor. Yeah, that's a good. That's a good. Yeah, tells you everything you need to know.
No excuse for taking off work.
Yeah, no excuse for taking off work. Touched by her account, Lovett abandons his search for the necklace. Alone at night on the stern of the Keldish, Rose, who has kept the necklace in her possession, drops it into the sea above the wreck. Okay, how do you feel about that?
She had it the whole time. You know what? I remember being younger. I'm like, she probably had it she probably still has it. Doesn't she?
Well, when it didn't show, it's kind of a MacGuffin, right? Everyone's trying to get it. Again, there's that great deleted scene with the ex-Pinkerton dude, like basically doing armed combat in the ballroom as it floods, which is a fantastic scene, but it's like it was way too long for to be in that movie.
Thank God they didn't go with alternative ending where they found that she did have it the whole time. He's like, "Can I just touch it?" And I'm like, "It's just like the Hope Diamond shaped like a heart. It's a." Whatever.
Yeah, there's an alternate ending, is what Christina's talking about.
The fire.
Not everybody has seen this movie to the level you have, Christina. So what she's talking about is the alternate ending. That it's like it's discovered that she has it, and like I don't know. It's
cast it in the fire, destroy it. No.
Yeah, exactly.
Just mix up Lord of the Rings with it. Someone must have done that, right? I feel like any possible memes for this have been done at this point. But that's a good one. If not,
it is my own, my precious.
Anyway, she drops in the sea above the wreck. Later, as she lies in her bed, photographs of her dresser depict a life of freedom and adventure inspired by Jack. Good for her. Good for her cinematic universe. Aboard the pristine Titanic, a young Rose reunites with Jack at the grand staircase, applauded by the passengers and crew who died in the sinking.
There's also discourse of whether or not she was dreaming.
Imagine.
Died. And I'm like, come on. There's signs that
imagine,
she died.
You guys not spoil the movie. Yeah, it's like the Odyssey. It's like sorry, the spoiler statute of limitations is passed.
Like she's
it's reverse Mordor.
Yeah, oh god. Like
cast it in the water, destroy it.
She dies. I don't know why people think she's dreaming. She was supposed to die, old and warm in her bed. She told the story.
She's 100 and something years old.
Yeah, she puts the necklace back in with the wreck. All the people who died on the ship are there. This is heaven to her. She's with Jack again. Everyone's happy. Yeah. The end. Gets me every time.
she's down in Hades, and it's the same scene from the Odyssey, and he's like, you didn't let me on the door, and she's like, no, the door would have sank. You didn't even try.
Instead of Agamemnon, it's Jack.
Some of the discourse around Titanic is so funny because it's like, obviously she dies in the end, y'all. Why is she wearing white? Why is she with? Come on.
There's a funny version of, because like, you know, it's great she like has lived this full life, but it's like imagine he dies and then she's like, she survives. She's like, you gotta live for the both of us. You gotta live a full life, and then she doesn't. So she doesn't live a full life. She's like, she lives like the most boring life imaginable, and it's like, you let him down. You let him down twice.
She really did like the soap opera career. Like she knew how to fly a plane, race a car, ride a horse, do this, do that. I'm like, damn, she's.
And they barely let women do any of those things back then.
I can't even do them today.
Exactly. Good for her.
Do this, do with that. She probably knows how to dig up a grave.
Let's see.
She's
guy waiting 80 years to fight with his girlfriend. Very good. Yep, excellent.
She's voting for like Woodrow Wilson, and she's like, I'm doing this for you, Jack. For you.
Would have gone down different if I was there. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Mark Wahlberg. Yeah, exactly. We get you.
Mark Wahlberg would have kicked the ship.
Who was supposed to play Jack again in Titanic?
He's like Mark Wahlberg's like, what do you mean the ship needs to go faster? Slow the ship down.
Jason Statham in Titanic.
By the way, they do the meme where it's he was just 2 days from retirement. Basically, like, you know, they always do cops where it's like he was 1 week from, because it's the captain's last voyage, and he's like, for my last voyage, and they're like, yo, make the ship. Wouldn't it be great if for your last voyage you made the ship go really, really fast? And he's like, I don't think I should.
Again,
like,
this thing was meant to sink.
But you could make your ship go really fast and then retire and be like, I made the ship go fast. It's like, okay, I guess. Like, yeah, that does sound like a good way to retire.
Also, you can tell how cold it was because of, you know, when they're having like the tea and the steam coming out of the cup of the tea. I was like, oh damn, it's cold. Also,
and then she's spilling the tea.
How they got drugged on the set with like hallucinogenics.
Yeah,
wait, who did it? And
Wahlberg would have sliced right through the iceberg.
Hypothermia, because James Cameron, notorious for not having safe sets, people were getting injured and getting freezing cold.
Wait.
I did not hear safe sets when you said that. I heard something different.
Wait,
but I was like, James Cameron, been in the notorious for
for safe sex in cars.
I
have it. This is what Christina's talking about.
Like, I always knew it as East Coast lore, like coming from Newfoundland. I had heard this urban legend growing up, and I've heard it in the news recently. I wanted to ask you about it, which is the story that, like, while you were filming in Dartmouth and Nova Scotia, the chowder got laced with PCP. This is true?
This is a 100% true story. Let me tell you, you haven't lived until you've been high on PCP, which, by the way, I do not recommend to anyone, even stoners. There was a little tiny hospital in, I think it was Dartmouth, with like 85 crew members.
Yeah.
You know, so the hospital, I mean, there was an emergency room with no one in it and like a nurse, and 85 crew members walk in. You know, we don't know. We think we've had shellfish poisoning, like, neural shellfish poisoning that kills you, like, you know, and we walk in, we don't know what's going on, and basically somebody had taken a pound of PCP and dumped it into the chowder.
Why?
And we have a pretty strong suspicion who it was, although it was never proven. We believe the story is that it was somebody who had a beef with the caterers, because the first thing we did was fire the caterers, right, when we recovered, you know, the next day. You know, sure enough, we had some leads on that. Of course, the operant theory was that I was such a psychomaniac that they were trying to get back at me, but I reject that theory out of hand for obvious reasons.
Yeah, but that is a true story. They got poisoned with PCP. A pound, and they still don't know who did it to this day.
Well, he says they have an idea. I mean, but you know, you can't really go around accusing people like that unless
PCP. I mean, like, that's of all the things to get dosed with, PCP. Good God. All right.
Why not, like, I don't know.
They,
oh, God.
I guess it's a couple years too early, but I was going to say.
Like acid, oh, my God, they would have been so mentally fucked up for life.
I was gonna say it's a few years before it, but I was gonna say they watched the Wayne Brady episode of Chappelle Show where he's like, Dave he's like, I didn't know you like to get wet, Dave, and he's like, that's PCP.
There you go. All right, so Letterboxd, of course, is a site for film lovers talk out with and to each other about the films that they love, maybe the films that they didn't love, maybe the films that they just explain the many scenes that they cried at again and again, over and over and over again, especially for this movie.
And then I cried again when they were on the ship, and then I cried again where they said I'm king of the world, and then I cried again where they were having sex in the car.
Yeah, pretty much. And of course, it's a bottom of democracy. Everyone gets to have their say. Everyone gets to chime and opine about the movies, not just Siskel's and Eberts of the world. Everyone gets to have their say. And for the purposes of this bit, that is best expressed succinctly with a collected weekly by yours truly for Forrest in the panel. In this case, just us. No one here with us chickens. This show to react to. So Forrest and Kristina get to react to these. That's right. That's what this bit is. These are the Letterboxd one-liners for Titanic. Let's roll them. I was doing so well until, gentlemen, it's been a privilege playing with you tonight. At which point I proceeded to sob violently for the remaining 45 minutes.
Yeah, it's
It is. Yeah. That's a pretty Conan moment.
Seeing the Macy's owners, seeing the woman.
Except for, Conan's equal opportunity, so he would be like gentlemen and women.
Right, exactly. That's true. Actually, that's true. Yeah, you're not wrong about that.
Just kept going down. Who dares?
Also, shout out to Victor Gabor for.
Wait, no, you know what song you play on the way down?
Job.
You play the commuter. Of course, I think it changes the whole atmosphere of the sinking, but
yeah, exactly. Well,
everyone's like, wait, I'm not gonna get a late one. I want to hear this. I want to hear what the set.
Yeah. Hold on, this one cooks. Let's hear.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight's entertainment on the ship, Green Day. There's Wake Me Up When September Ends.
Oh man, can you imagine if it was like
no, wake me up when the ship.
Yeah, that's what I said. Wake me.
Ladies and gentlemen, Limp Bizkit.
Oh God, no.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I'm jumping off before the ship sinks. If that's if
it's gonna say, everyone just starts jumping. Oh no way!
It's Mar-a-Lago.
Look at how cold the water is.
It's
Kid Rock, everybody.
Yeah,
explain us out.
That was gonna be my joke. I was gonna say it's Mar-a-Lago on the water. And it's kid. You just say bomb, chicken, whatever is fucking.
Oh my God.
That's enough of that. If Christopher Nolan ever directed this film, he'd get everyone on a Titanic replica in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean and then build an iceberg so he can sink it to make it as realistic as possible.
Amen. You know what? Josh was talking about a remake of Titanic, but with black people. No offense, but I feel like Christopher Nolan would be the best to make a remake of Titanic. Because he'd be like, we're doing this the hard way, the real way. We're gonna make it as accurate as possible. And James Cameron's I know for being a dick of a director with not the safest conditions, but Christopher Nolan's probably worse.
They said that the siren song scene, the guy was sick, like he had food poisoning or something while it was happening, and they just had the guy keep jumping into the water over and over again during the siren song. He's like,
yep.
True love is busting down a White Star Line door in a sinking ship with her significant other and then turning around and yelling, "Shut up!" in unison at the crew member who tells you you're going to have to pay for it.
Yeah, is it going to matter? I'd be like, I wonder what happened to that guy.
You know who I do feel bad for? There's the one, she's running down, she's trying to find Jack, who we didn't the summary didn't even talk about how he was handcuffed to the thing for a minute there.
Yeah, and he has to get the axe and
the lights go off.
She's trying to find
that
him.
Are filled with water, other parts that are not. And that one guy is dragging her, and she just finally punches him. I'm like, damn, girl.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That's the guy I feel bad for. The guy that she punches the guy in the face, and he's like, "Well, I'm out of here." Yeah. Damn, I was just imagining I'm just imagining trying to get out of there and dragging her, and then like because you try to help her, and then she just punches you in the face. You're like,
Yeah.
women, I'll never understand women.
Escape room when?
Oh. Titanic edition. That would be fun, I think, as long as it. Can you imagine this movie being in 4D?
Oh man.
Well, does the escape room start and you're handcuffed? One person's handcuffed to the radiator as the room starts gaining water.
Yeah, that's the escape room. Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta get the axe and not pull a saw. Saw, everybody. That's the joke. Saw. Thank you.
Yeah, he's like, I trust you, and I'm like, I wouldn't trust her.
What other choice does he have, though? I mean,
I know. I've never quite swung an axe like this before, but I think I could do it. I'd be like, I trust you. And it's like, I'm all right. I like.
Not afraid to watch this on a plane because there's no icebergs in the sky.
I feel like
but I wouldn't watch it. I wouldn't watch it.
You're not as safe in the air than you are in the water. Because water is a form of matter that's somewhat more stable than.
Well, air is a form of matter as well.
But it's not as safe to be up in the air.
But if I put on my life jacket, I'll be safe.
Yeah, you put your life jacket on and you'll be fine on the plane.
See, but there is a version where it's like, oh, we didn't think this plane would ever fall down, so we didn't bring enough parachutes.
Yeah, right, exactly. Like, sure, yeah.
Women and children first. He's grabbing a kid.
Yeah. The James Cameron guy is quite the up-and-comer. Nice to see what he did with such a small budget.
Titanic back rooms.
Oh, boy.
Rose is really sitting there floating with her pointy pumps still fixed to her damn feet. After all that, Miss Ocean even sucked them under, and she kicked and kicked, and those pumps still stay clutching her feet. Forget about that big fucking boat. Those heels are the most true unsinkable ladies in this story.
Amen.
Everyone hang on to my feet.
That'll help.
Tarantino just pops up.
Me and the twink I pulled by being suicidal.
Yeah, he called her ass out. He's like, "You weren't gonna. I know you're not gonna do it." It is such a smart piece of writing, I guess, in that scene when he's like, you know how cold that water is. Mm-hmm. I'll jump in after you, but I'm gonna fucking freeze my ass off.
When that one guy said, "Only women, no men," so true.
Amen.
Women and children first. Sir, may I? No men.
Heterosexual excellence.
That's the best way to describe that love story. And you know what? Sometimes I feel like, I feel like one day, I feel like when it comes to the preferable age of women that Leonardo DiCaprio has, I feel like Kate Winslet's like the only one he'd be like, yeah, I would. I feel like one day they'll get together. That's our hope. One day they'll be together. They've always had such a close friendship.
They're still BFFs.
They did Revolutionary Road together, which very different from Titanic, mind you.
Dude, I forgot about this. I forgot about this headline at the end of the pandemic when Kate Winslet said she started crying and couldn't stop for an hour when she saw Leonardo DiCaprio for the first time after the pandemic ended, after quarantine ended.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sweet. So those are the Letterboxd one-liners for Titanic. Please follow the show on our Letterboxd HQ account at Movie Night Extra, where you have all the great write-ups, all the great episodes that we have on this very show, as well as Tenet short-form content, fun other materials, things along those lines. A great follow. Ship Can't Sink at Always Flacco, Forrest, that's your host down there. He is in the water, so do him a favor and either throw him a life preserver or follow him on Letterboxd to see what he's up to over on Letterboxd.
And such small portions.
You can follow him and see for his journey, which has been many blockbusters. But I think you just did. You mentioned the other movie, the
Night to Remember. I did that.
Night to Remember. Yeah. So follow along for his journey.
I I would definitely recommend that to anyone who likes Titanic.
I've seen
version of it with the.
Yeah, I've seen scenes from it, but I've not seen the whole thing, so I don't count that.
It's on YouTube as like the full thing's on YouTube and it's 1080.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there you go. That's Adam Kristina over there, Iceberg Truther. She's Adam Kristina and has been doing some vlogging here and there as she feels so fit.
Come on, people. Icebergs don't melt steel beams.
Well, you know what's interesting? They actually have a photo of the iceberg after the Titanic sank. Like they're like, "This is the iceberg. That's not the Titanic. You can see the paint."
It's taking a selfie. After all that,
like, here's the paint.
It's like that guy that took the picture at the Holocaust Museum, but it's the iceberg taking a selfie.
Yo, do you remember when the guy was playing Pokemon Go at the Holocaust Museum? He took a picture and he was catching that ghastly Pokemon or whatever in the Holocaust Museum.
I'm at Conan Neutron. You can follow me on Letterboxd as well. I'm the unsinkable Conan Neutron, and so you can find. I'm going to publish my log after the show of this movie, as well as I said, like
who sinks. I'm the one who sinks.
I also, crazily enough, didn't have this plan. Watched Master and Commander: Far Side of the World recently, which is funny.
Nice.
I think I'm down to 9 for my Criterion challenge because I saw Fish Tank just recently, Andrea Arnold movie, which is really cool. But follow me along for that. The highbrow, the midbrow, the populous fair, all that stuff. I looked up. I was trying to look up showtimes for Teenage Sex and Death and Cat Miasma, the new Jane Schoenbrunn movie, and then I got like you can't look for this. Like this is restricted material. We're gonna get reported. I'm like, I'm just trying to find the movie times. It's what the picture's called, which I think is kind of funny.
You're not allowed to have Teenage Sex and Death anymore.
Apparently.
Because of woke.
Apparently, I don't know. But I'm looking forward to seeing that.
I read it every time as I Can't Mishima.
Can't Mishima? Yeah, great. Yeah, that's good. And I'll see Spider-Man at some point. I don't know if I want to see it opening weekend or anything, but yeah. So follow me along on Letterboxd there. Forrest, let's hit it with the plugs, baby.
If you're watching us on YouTube, please like and subscribe, and then hit the bell to get notified whenever we're streaming. And we'd humbly request that you watch the video to the end because it helps us with the algorithm and helps more film fans to discover the show. We're also monetized. If you want to get your chat questions definitely read on stream, you can always send us a super chat, which will help us keep the show going. Every cent helps. If you're watching on Twitch, you can gift us a free sub on Amazon Prime with your Prime membership, but getting subs on Twitch is always appreciated, and it helps to follow us on there as well. We also have an audio feed, which is available wherever you download podcasts, if you prefer to listen to podcasts rather than watch the stream. That's updated usually the same day we stream, but watching on YouTube and Twitch is the best way to get the show first, live as it happens. If you want to support us with a monthly donation and get access to all of our after parties forever, which go patron only after we do them, you can become a patron at patreon.com/movie night extra. Link is in the description for that. It really helps us keep the show going since we do have some expenses to make this happen. We also have a Discord community. Link is in the description for that. We sometimes watch movies we cover on there. We get into conversations about everything from film to TV shows to related podcasts. We even have a Discord channel for memes. It's really fun on there. You can find us on all the social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, Twitter, and Threads. You connect with us on all of those. Talk to us. We'd love to hear from you. Lastly, we recently made a TikTok at Movie Night Extra where we're putting up short form clips from the episodes. Okay, passing this to Conan so he can tell you about his music and this week's Protonic Reversal. Conan, who's on Protonic this week?
Yeah, that's right. So the Jen Finch Memorial episode is still the most recent one in the general feed. I got Steve Until Neurosis coming up, which should be good. They just played their first show back in, I think, 7 years, if I remember correctly. So that should be a really good one. I also have Blog Dolly of the Dwarves coming up, which should be good. It's been a long time coming for that. And then I'm crazily enough going to have a interview with Parliament Funkadelic guitarist who replaced Eddie Hazel. So the guy's been like 17, Michael Hampton. He's coming on in a special episode next weekend. So plenty of Protonics before it is tour time, baby. But you can protoncontroversial.com, patreon.com/protoncontroversial, $1 a month advance access for all those episodes. So please, if you haven't become a patron of Protoncontroversial, please do that. I've had a few fall off. They come back, but it would be nice to get that building back up again because I got a lot of good stuff coming up. Neutron Friends, Conan Neutron Secret Friends, of course, hitting the West Coast with The Null. I was trying to put it in our put it up, but I have to do it this way. I have a great tour poster for this. This is Chris Williams, who does all of our show art. He did the poster for this. They put it on screen. So we're playing San Francisco, we're playing Sacramento, we're playing Eureka, Portland, Seattle. All these are with The Null, who's Jacob from Victory and Associates, my old band. So very excited to play all these shows with them. If you're in any of those places, please consider coming out or letting someone know about it. And if you know me from the show, come say hi, or just come say hi anyway. I have some, so there's Chicago, Milwaukee, Minneapolis as well. I don't have posters for that up right now, but I suppose I can share this. Here's the art for Caterwaull West, September 4th and 5th, 2026. Revealed for the first time ever, because I got the poster about 2 minutes before we went on air. That is in Los Angeles, Permanent Records. We got a little Jet Jaguar there for you. You got Cosmic Kid and Hillbilly Devil Speak, Jumpstart Plowhards with Mike Watt, Action Friend, Astral Jets with Dez from Black Flag, Elfin Rifle, Gatheus, Mike Watt and the Second Men, Secret Friends, Mod Pods and Leopold. Go to caterwaullwest.com or Permanent Records, the website, to buy tickets. They are $25 per day, $30 at the door, $40 2-day, and $50 at the door. So it should be good. Permanent Records is a great venue. This has been like the least well-kept secret ever that I've been doing this, but that's great to have some art for it. I know we have some people that are wanting to see us in LA, which we just played LA, but like we're playing LA again, and it's for this. It's for Caterwaull, so this is the great art of that by Ryan Flowers. So come out for that if you're in those areas, and then Midwest shows in September and some other stuff to announce pretty soon. NeutronFriends.com, NeutronFriends.bandcamp.com. Way of the Neutron's new record. We're doing a record sale and a CD sale, so if you like physical media, you can get every one of the records but Artemer for $100 right now, which some people have asked for. We did that for a while. It's a good way to kind of catch up on everything. And then we have some few shopping bags, not that many left if you're interested in repping at the Whole Foods or your farmer's market or whatever it happens to be. People that have them seem to really like them, which is good. We wanted to have that for forever, so I'm glad. And then, that's about it. I'm going on 1001 Album Complaints to talk about Wire next week. So I'm not sure when exactly that's going to be. I'll probably right before we go out on tour. But, that's what's going on with me. Christina, what do you got?
Yeah, I haven't really been able to do my show because I've been taking care of a freaking puppy mill. Week 2 of this. Still been streaming. Again, got like 12 hours of Dark Shadows in. People are hooked. I had people waiting like 2 hours before I started streaming for Shadow Saturday. And the people demand it. And I'm going to be starting for October. We're going to dedicate at least 3 to 4 hours of Dark Shadows every stream because it's Halloween. People demand it. I'm excited about that. Still been, I went over the Abdul El Sayed and Haley Stevens debate last night, which was very fun. She's crazy. He's very much.
Now I really want to button this. Whenever this comes up, it goes, "Israel comes to me in my dreams."
I have that as a sound alert, which is great. So I've been streaming. Just prepping, obviously, for Spider-Man's coming out. Good to see that. Do a little Letterboxd one-line review of that. Really not a whole lot going on besides streaming and trying to podcast. I haven't even been on my 4th show because I've been so busy. The space station was, oh well. Also, Forrest and I are probably going to do space a little late tomorrow.
Yeah, we're gonna figure that out. I told them that I was gonna start doing Space Station, and then last week I was just too tired. We streamed like 3 times last week.
I'm kind of burnt, frankly. So I mean, we've been burning at both ends.
Yeah.
So I don't blame you for not doing a fourth show.
We got one of those weeks coming up with when we do Under the Silver Globe or On the Silver Globe.
On the Silver Globe, yeah, the Zlowski movie, the director of Possession.
In my head, I do Under the Silver Lake.
Under the Silver Lake, on the Silver Globe. I had the hardest time differentiating those two for a long time. Yeah, but
yeah. That's gonna be fun. Also, later on in August, which is gonna be on Forrest's birthday and of course Michael Jackson's birthday, going on with Josh at the afternoon to discuss Ghosts, Michael Jackson's magnum opus of a short film, in my opinion.
Oh.
Well, actually, it's a fact. So,
I thought you meant Ghosts, the movie with Demi Moore.
Ooh, we should cover that one.
That's the worst movie, though. Yeah.
I forgot.
You mean
Tony
Michael
Goldwyn's the bad
Jackson?
guy in that.
No.
You mean the ghost of Michael Jackson? Did you see that? Did you see that TikTok? It's like the guy is like, I am the ghost of Michael Jackson. Bing bong.
Oh God.
That guy.
Don't even get me started on Fabio Jackson.
Okay,
Anyway, yeah, but also then went over.
Hello, I am
I was
Fabio
with Alex to
Jackson.
talk about like Comic-Con and the debate and stuff like that. So that was fun too.
All right, hell yeah. So yeah, we'll let everyone know about Absurdity Space and what time we are going on. But yeah, Kristina, let's hear what like 18 million years of 18 million viewings of Titanic discourse all summed up in.
Inside of you are two wolves, and the wolves are Kristina and I.
Yeah. This is definitely a top 10 film for me. This is one of the first movies I remember seeing as a wee little one. This, The Wizard of Oz, and Austin Powers. Again, Austin Powers also came out in '97. I know, what an interesting trio of films.
Name a more iconic trio. Yeah, okay.
Exactly. Wizard of Oz, Titanic, and Austin Powers. By the way, the fourth Austin Powers movie is definitely happening. Just, to me, this is my favorite James Cameron movie. Great effects, great, acting, use of characters, no matter how big or small. Sometimes you can't believe this film was made, considering what went on behind the scenes and on set when they were filming it. James Cameron probably should have gotten sued, considering all the people who got sick and injured.
And dosed with PCP, apparently? Like,
yeah, hypothermia
what?
and all, because he was using real, cold ocean water, too. But you can tell he put his heart and dedication. This was his passion
I
project.
thought you were gonna say you could tell they put PCP in that.
But you could tell, for a lot of us, this movie developed our obsession with Titanic as children, myself included. I've seen everything about Titanic in regards to James Cameron's film, like Ghost of the Abyss, his other documentaries about the Titanic.
There's something pretty funny about
a very niche interest in a ship.
There's something very funny about James Cameron having done the movie The Abyss and then calling his documentary The Ghost of the Abyss.
Yeah, and also too, he explored the Mariana Trench, which is insane to do. No one.
Yeah.
I haven't even toured there, and I've toured everywhere. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. Very few people have gone down to the deep. That's the deepest.
I don't think you could. I don't think you could make your money back down there. To be honest.
I know it seems like the juice ain't gonna be worth the squeeze, almost, right? Yeah.
And the close
Limited
up,
audience.
I would trust my life with James Cameron to go visit the Titanic.
But only that.
Captain Rush, no.
I would trust my life with James Cameron trying PCP for the first time.
What about? What if it was who would be the most unlikely person to have put PCP in the food? Do you think? Gloria Stewart. Gloria Stewart.
Yes.
Put PCP in everyone's food.
I was gonna say the guy Victor Newman from Young and Restless, who played John Jacob Astor.
Or you could just go with Kathy Bates.
Yeah.
Or you could have like a Sigourney Weaver, set that he wasn't cast in this James Cameron movie and going
wait a minute, what if it was Linda Hamilton seeking some revenge?
Yeah. Yep, there you go.
I saw.
She's I'm not going to get any money out of this divorce.
Titanic mystery, y'all. I'm gonna contact James Cameron, let him know it's his ex-wife.
I like the idea of. I like the idea of James Cameron not signing a prenup and going, "This marriage will never sink."
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Wah,
Okay.
wah, wah.
Yeah.
This is an unbreakable bond between us. This marriage will last forever. There's no way this marriage will ever end. And she's like, yes, you don't need a prenup. And then they get divorced right away. Yeah, Conan, let's hear first time, long time thoughts on it.
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
I said, I think I pretty much said all my final thoughts at the top of the show, I would say. So no need to repeat.
Yeah. Well, we are going to be. Well,
Yes,
hey, we put you in.
Josh.
We put you in the back rooms.
Josh in the back rooms.
Yeah.
Mom, Daddy, help! Josh Afternoon Tunes in the back rooms. All right. Speaking of which, we're doing an after party. So yeah, prepare for nonsense.
I'm trying to set up the after party as we're talking.
Yeah. So so July's over. That was Blockbuster month, everyone. Thank you so much. We are doing the Nolan Batmans next. We're doing Batman. Batman Will Begin.
Yep, with my buddy Gus.
And then we got The Dark Knight, everyone's favorite, which is going to be Freddy.
Yeah, Freddie
Is
G,
that one?
our favorite Jewish
Yeah.
ginger anti-Zionist TikToker that Forrest and I know.
As long as he's not going to some random state to like campaign for people.
And
The picture
then
of him in Michigan is crazy.
And after that, The Dark Knight will rise with The Dark Knight Rises. So look forward to that. And then
You think the Titanic is your ally? I was made by the Titanic, molded by it. I didn't see land till I was
we're not letting you. We're not reviewing the stupid Tay Diggs stepfather movie. God
come
damn
on,
it!
what kind of show do you think this is? And then, but we are doing on the Silver Globe with Renee Ruin. Renee Ruin.
I have an Israeli girlfriend. Can I still come on?
That's good. It's once in a
No,
while.
you're
Yeah.
now banned.
And on the Silver Globe, there's a Lasky movie, Director of Possession, with Renee Ruin coming back on. I think second week is what we decided for that as well. So there you go. Got the Nolan Batmans coming up, and then we're closing out the summer. But yeah, that was it for Blockbuster. We could call it Cameron month, except for the Odyssey, frankly. But
Wait, I think that's going to be on the. I want to say the 8th. It's the first week of. Yeah.
Well, we're doing it on a weekend. If we do a show on a weekend, it's usually because Renee's involved. So, but that's on the Silver Globe is.
It's because Australia doesn't have weekdays.
Right, they outlawed them because it's a prison continent. You don't have weekends in prison. I mean, they do, but it's the same as the weekdays. Wow.
Oi, we don't have weekends in prison, mate. Yeah, so we're gonna be in the after party, getting silly, getting crunk.
Yeah.
We might
What a
drown.
change up.
This show is never gonna sink.